Why build an ADU? Well, the simple answer is that the return on investment on an ADU is just way too good. If you don't know what an ADU is, or accessory dwelling unit, it's basically a second smaller dwelling on your property. Dwelling is just another way to say house. So it's basically a second house on your property. So a dwelling is technically defined by a place that you can sleep, cook, and bathe. So an ADU must have at least a kitchen and a bathroom with a shower. There's already a couple of states that are friendly for ADU development, like California and Oregon. But other states are also being pressured to offer solutions for affordable housing too. And ADUs are just kind of perfect for that because they use land that's already connected to the grid, and just by nature, they're smaller and more efficient. So if you're a homeowner, using land that you already own to develop affordable housing for other people or yourself can offer a really good financial opportunity for homeowners who decide to build ADUs. Even if you're not a homeowner, but you plan to be a homeowner one day, when you do look for a property, you should buy a property with possible ADU development in mind. Because like I said, building an ADU can give an amazing return on investment. But let's go through a couple of ROI examples just to see what type of returns building an ADU can give. We'll start off with a more conservative example, like the worst case scenario, and then we'll talk about a more likely scenario and then the best case scenario. So I have to make a couple of assumptions on the different examples that I use, but I know everyone's situation is going to be different. But it's the concepts that are going to be pretty much the same, and the concepts are the most important. So just think about your own numbers in your market and then put in your own numbers to come up with your ROI. For the conservative example, let's say that you live in a house that is 1,400 square feet, you build an ADU that is 800 square feet, and the ADU ends up costing $200,000. But after you build the ADU, you rent out the ADU for $1,400 per month, or if you multiply by 12, it's $16,800 per year. So you take the cost of the construction, $200,000, you divide by your yearly income, $16,800, and you get 11.9. Meaning it takes 11.9 years to get paid back. That's equal to a 8.4% return on investment. Not bad. So same conservative example, but let's say instead of renting out the ADU, you actually move into the ADU and then you rent out the main house, which is larger than the ADU, so it gets more rent than the ADU. So instead of getting $1,400 per month, now you're getting $2,000 per month, or $24,000 per year. So if you take $200,000 divided by $24,000, now you're looking at 8.33 years, meaning it'll take a little bit over 8 years to get your money back, or approximately 12% return on investment. So a more likely scenario, let's say that instead of costing $200,000 to build that 800 square foot ADU, it costs $120,000 to build that ADU. So you're still going to move into that ADU and rent out the main house for $2,000 per month, but instead of the construction cost of $200,000, it costs $120,000, and you divide it by the yearly income of $24,000 per year, and you get 5, meaning that it only takes 5 years to get paid back, or a 20% return on investment. So now it's getting really good. And you're not even factoring in rent increases, which you should do regardless every year, even if it's by $50, $30, or even $20. All right, so let's look at the best case scenario. So let's say instead of building a detached 800 square foot ADU, you have an attached garage to your house, and you convert that garage to what they call a junior ADU. And it only costs $60,000 to convert that garage to a junior ADU. You move into the junior ADU, and then you rent out the main house. You only get about $1,700 per month this time instead of $2,000 per month, because the main house is now a little bit less private and it doesn't have a garage. But if you run the numbers, you're still making a little bit over $20,000 per year, which means it only takes 3 years to get paid back, which is a 33% return on investment. So now it's getting ridiculously good, right? I'm not even factoring the equity that you'll gain from your house. And let's be conservative again, and let's say that you're only going to gain 50% equity of the construction cost into your house. Meaning if you spend $200,000 on your ADU, the value of your house will only increase by $100,000. But now you don't have to make the return on the $200,000, you only have to make the return on the $100,000. So even in the conservative example where you build a ADU for 200,000 and you live in the ADU, move into the main house, you're still getting a 24% return on investment. And this is the worst case scenario. Not to mention, if you do a garage conversion, you actually stand a good chance of increasing the value of your house above and beyond the cost of construction. So instead of making a 33% return on investment in the best case scenario, like I mentioned, in the garage conversion, you might be making 133% return on investment on the first year, or 233% in the first year. Who knows, right? It depends on the market. But just imagine spending $60K on a garage conversion, and then you get $120K added into the value of your house immediately, and then you make $20K per year after that for the rest of your life. Are you fucking kidding me? I know this doesn't include the extra utility costs, extra maintenance costs, increased property tax, increased insurance costs, possible vacancies, but at a 33% return on investment, your margin of safety is huge. Plus, if you're able to Airbnb the main house instead of going through the regular rental market, you might be able to get double the market rent, which would way offset those costs and plus much more. For those reasons, I think that building an ADU is just a no-brainer. And if you're a millennial like me or a Gen Xer, you might be complaining that
our parents got to participate in the largest real estate boom in history. That's just not fair.
Well, let me tell you something. We might be in the largest ADU boom in history. Just like they needed to buy a house in order to take advantage of their boom, we have to build an ADU to take advantage of this one. So if you want to retire early, you just can't afford to give up this opportunity. And I'm not selling anything. I don't own a company that helps people build ADUs. I'm just an average guy that ran the numbers, and I can't find anything else that gives you the most returns with the least amount of risk. And I'll be putting my money where my mouth is. I will be building an ADU on my property, and I'll be documenting the process throughout. I'll also be making videos about the laws, the design, the permitting, the financing, and the construction. So if you're interested in those videos, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss those videos. I'm recording this in September of 2020, so if you're watching much later than this, then I'll put a playlist of those videos over here. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.